Alright, John, we're going to keep on moving in the practice test, and we are now on question number 10. So, I'm actually glad that we're doing this together because there will be questions like this on the test, and there weren't any, I don't think, that you did like this for homework. It says if the mean of 5 values is 8.2, and 4 of the values are 6, 10, 7, and 12, you need to find the 5th value. So we didn't really talk about this in the notes because it's pretty much banking on the fact that you know how to find out what the mean or the average of numbers is. So if the mean of 5 values is 8.2, how do we go about figuring out what the mean or the average of something is? Typically, if you want to figure out what your average is, you add up all of the scores that you got and then you divide by that total number. So in this case, we're going to add up those scores that we have and we're going to divide by 5 because there's going to be 5 total values. Well, what's the problem? We don't know what the 5th value is. We know that we added up 6 plus 10 plus 7 plus 12. But that's only 4 values. We still have this missing number. I'm going to call it x. That's our 5th value that we don't know what it is yet. But we do know that to find the average, you add up all those and then you divide by the total number that you have. So how can we go about figuring out what this missing value is? Well, this is just, a simple linear equation, and we need to get that x value all by itself. So the first thing that I'm going to do, obviously, you always multiply or divide first in equations. So because this whole right-hand side of the equation is being divided by 5, I'm going to multiply the right-hand side and the left-hand side by positive 5 so that I can cancel that out. Alright, so 8.2 times 5 gives me 41. 41 is equal to 6 plus 10 plus 7 plus 12 plus x. Well, how do I figure out what the x is? I can subtract all of those values, but first let me add them all up so that I can figure out what that is total. So 6 plus 10 plus 7 plus 12, that all adds up to be 35. So this is really 35 plus x is equal to 41. Now that looks a lot easier for us to handle. We can just subtract by 35 on each side, get x by itself. And in this case, x is equal to 6. And that's exactly how you would go about doing a problem like that. And you would need to show all of your work on the test in order to get full credit for that. Now, question number 11 is extremely similar to what we just did, except for the fact that now, instead of just looking at the average of 5 values, now we have a frequency table. So the table displays the frequency of scores on a 20-point quiz. The mean of the quiz scores is 18. The mean of the quiz scores is 18. So this is what you have in front of you. You have your scores, the frequency, okay, so there's a score of 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. And then the number of times that each of those occurred. So apparently 2 people got a score of 15, 2 people got a score of 16, 7 people scored a 17, 13 people scored an 18, K people scored a 19, and that's what we're going to have to solve for, and then 5 people scored a 20. So it goes on to tell us that the average or the mean score of all of these is 18. Now we're going to use pretty much exactly the information that we just used in the previous question to solve for this. In order to figure out what the mean is, you add up all of the scores that you have and then divide by the total number of scores that you have. So you're going to add up all your total scores, except for I don't really only have a 15, I actually have 2 15s. So that's actually 30 points, not just 15 points. And then instead of just a 16 that I'm adding up, I don't have only 16, I have 4 16s, which is like 64. And then you're going to keep on doing that. So hopefully you understand why we have to do this, because if I wanted to list out all of the scores that I have, it's really 15, 15, 16, 16, 16, 16. So instead of listing out all of those and adding them all up, I'm just kind of simplifying it and making it a multiplication problem instead. So I have 7 17s, I have 13 18s, I have K 19s, and 5 20s. Okay, so that was just me going through and adding up all of the scores that I have, just like if you wanted to figure out what your average was for a test. So I added up all of those scores. Now I need to divide by the total number of scores that I have. By the total number of scores that I have. So this time I actually have 2 15s and I have 4 16s. So I'm not just adding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 scores together. I'm adding together actually a lot more than that. 13 plus K, because we're not exactly sure how many people scored a 19. So you have that value in the denominator as well, which is what makes these questions really fun. Okay, so let's just go through and simplify some of the stuff that we have. 18 is equal to, now on the top, I can simplify all of this by doing 2 times 15 plus 4 times 16 plus 7 times 17 plus 13 times 18. And we aren't sure about that K, so I'm just going to leave it alone for right now, plus 5 times 20. And I'm going to hit enter. So apparently, all the way up on the top, that's 547 plus 19K, because we aren't sure about that K still. Now, in the denominator, I have 2. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. Okay. In the denominator, I have 2 plus 4 plus 7 plus 13 plus K, which I don't know, plus 5. Hit enter. That's apparently 31 plus K. So now we need to go about solving this. We need to get that K all by itself. And the problem is right now that I have a K in the numerator and I have a K in the denominator. Well, a lot of kids struggled with this, but I feel like if you put the 18 over a 1, you can kind of see better what we want you to do. We want you to cross multiply in this case. Alright, so I'm going to do 18 times 31 plus K and 547 plus 19K times 1. So that times 1 is just itself, so 547 plus 19K is equal to 18 times 31 plus K. So it's getting to seem like it's a little bit easier for us to solve. I need to distribute through that 18. And 18 times 31 is equal to 558 plus 18K. Now, I have variables on both sides of my equation right now, and I want to get them next to each other. So I'm going to subtract 18K on both sides. 19K minus 18K just leaves me with 1K, which is awesome. 547 plus K is equal to 558. So now I'm going to go ahead and subtract that 547 from 558. 558 minus 547. Hit enter, and K is equal to 11. That took a long time. But, John, I guarantee you that there is a question like this on the test. Okay? That was only actually part A of question number 11. Part A is find the value of k in the table. Alright, k is equal to 11. So all the way up here, k is equal to 11 right there, which makes sense. Apparently, 11 people scored 19 on that test or quiz. Okay, part B, find the mode and the median of all the quiz scores. Find the mode and the median. Mode and the median. Well, the median is something I can find out using my calculator. The mode is not. The mode is when we have to take a look and see which score occurred the most frequently. Which score occurred the most frequently, and that's really easy to do using a frequency table, because you can see that 19 is the greatest number for frequency, meaning that the most, or the most frequent score that occurred was 18. So the most people scored a score of 18. So the mode all the way down here is 18. Now for the median, what you could do is list out all of these numbers in order and then figure out what it is, but I think that it's easier just to do it in a list and let the calculator do the work for you. Hit enter, clear it out. Alright. So our scores were 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. And then the frequency was 2, 4, 7, 13, 11. Oops, 11. And 5. And then I'm going to go to Stat, Calculate, One Variable Statistics, and my lists are list 1, comma, list 2, hit enter, and I'm looking for the median, and the median is listed down here, and the median is an 18. So all the way down here, the mean and the median both happen to be 18 for this problem, which is pretty cool. Okay? Wow, that took a long time. Alright, number 12. What is the range of the following data? Number 12. Now, if you think back to what I taught you before, there's two different things that you could be asked. You could be asked the range, and the range is the max minus the min. You're just pretty much being asked the range of all of your values from the highest to the lowest. The other thing that we could ask you is the interquartile range, and the interquartile range is where you type all the numbers into your calculator, and your calculator tells you Q3 and Q1, and Q3 minus Q1 gives you your interquartile range. That's not what we're doing right now. It just asks for the range of the data, and you have a bunch of numbers listed out right there, and the numbers are 90, 72, 51, 90, 78, oops, and 53. So to figure out what your just range is, I need the maximum number, in this case that's a 90, minus the minimum number, and in that case that's a 51. So to figure out your range, it's just 90 minus 51, and 90 minus 51 is equal to 39. And that is choice A. So I'm going to stop this right now and then start another video for you.